So, this is the very first Exero news update that I've ever done on this channel, as opposed to Instagram. So, the overview of what's going to be talked about in this video is the future of Ultramarine, what's happening with that, what's going to happen with the second leg of the reconstruction period, what are the things I'm going to be doing over the summer, such as actually another new EP, me playing music, doing covers, and more. And then the final release plan of Ultramarine, then the big surprise about BioArmor. So first and foremost, I'm sorry, but this is just going to be the way it is a lot of the time as a small-time creator. Ultramarine, I'm just going to say it, isn't coming out this winter. First and foremost, when I was working on BioArmor last fall, things began to bleed more and more into the allotted time I was going to work on Ultramarine. Actually, if you may remember, Ultramarine was supposed to come out much earlier in the winter than BioArmor was supposed to be campaigned for, neither of which have fully happened. Now, the explanation for that is, it's not fun to talk about, but it is what it is. I started working on BioArmor in September through even still now, and the allotted time that I had for Ultramarine was interfered with doing a lot for BioArmor, to the point where once I finally started working on Ultramarine again, I was very disoriented in terms of inspiration. Once I started working on Ultramarine again, things were so sloppy that not only the single came out mid-January, but I forgot to even make promos for it. I just uploaded it, and it was such a hassle. I only realized that I should have went back to Windows 10 because the effects program that I was using only runs on Windows 10. It doesn't even exist anymore. The effects program was crashing at least 10 times within the window of 1.5 days. So that happened. What I will say though, for the rest of this winter is, I can't make any promises, but I'm hoping to release a live video of me performing for the very first time my music in front of a live audience. And as you could expect, Ultramarine 1 and its coda Newberg results will be performed live. Hopefully. So, how would I be able to create different styles per EP and album? Two different ways, two different approaches that I use are using different effects and synthesizers per EP and album, and then create unique definitions per EP and album. So, for K2L, and much more so for Ultramarine, almost exclusively on Ultramarine, is I use the synthesizer Absinthe 5. So Absinthe 5 has a very unique sound and focus that you're probably not going to get any other sound from Absinthe 5 on different synthesizers. So let me show you a different example. I created a sound called corridor strings. Now I call this preset corridor piano. So let me show you my sound library that I've been developing over the years. So for example, Ultramarine, I've got what's called gemstone beats. So that specific style is developed exclusively for Ultramarine. So yeah, that definitely sounds aquatic and gemstone based. So another thing that I've done in order to create unique sounds and styles is use a variety of different descriptors that aren't exactly the same per EP and style. So I've looked at the genre of drum and bass, for example, and I'll hear different break beats and samples, but I've noticed that they don't typically sound all that different. They're the same samples over and over, and they're not processed too differently from each other. So on Ultramarine, when you hear Coda Newberg results, for example, you're hearing the debut of a different style, and that's exclusively used really only on Ultramarine so far. Now, for the next topic, the second leg of the reconstruction period. Last year, I was having kind of a crisis between, this music is so old, at that point I couldn't care less about it. And am I doing more harm to myself than good with releasing old material rather than just focusing on new material, etc.? It got to the point where that allotted time within the spring ran out, and I was just like, I should just can this stuff. But if you remember last December, I had a complete change of heart. So, I am going to be re-releasing, campaigning, selling, distributing, etc. Air of Optimism and the 15th Parallel, and I'm really excited for what's next. Stay tuned for that, for TikToks related to it, promos, you know the drill. Now, the next big plan that I have is, I'm not going to make you guys wait until December or next January to hear the next EP. I'm actually planning on releasing within the span of this year, next year, the other two Warp Space entries. Now, even before I released Warp Space 1, I was kind of iffy about just releasing loop-based songs, aka loops I didn't make, and it just felt convoluted, but I thought it was worth it. By 2021, when I released Warp Space 1, it took so long to get actual content out from me that I was like, screw it, let's just do this one. So I'm definitely going to be releasing either Warp Space 2 or actually 3 first this year. You'll just have to wait and see, but I'm excited to continue those efforts. Another plan that I have for probably just the summer is a few things. So number one, covers. I've wanted to do this for years, but this is the time to really do them. I'm going to be covering King Crimson video game covers. Most likely Christian artist covers. I really just want to go all out with that stuff, and that's going to be fun. One fun thing that I haven't really gone into depth at all has been new instruments I've been practicing. I actually just got a drum kit in October, so yeah, I started playing the drums. Here's an example. So this brings us actually to the second leg of Ultramarine, which will happen mid-fall into mid-winter of this to next year. Still, there are a few other singles left to release, and then once it's fully distributed and released, what I'm going to do is, number one, as I've said, I want to do a live stream and explain things, play things, etc. But also, just like Warp Space 1, there's going to be a long play of the EP. It's actually going to be a lot different from Warp Space 1's long play, aka just the entire EP played, not like the traditional understanding. Now, finally, I've been waiting so long to make this announcement. This is the perfect time to do it. BioArmor is not only going to be showcasing 5 different music videos, there's going to be an integrated web series involved with it. I've been working on the web series with my friends now for, I'm going to say 3 years? No, 2 years now. One of the other reasons why I couldn't even release BioArmor this winter was because of the web series. Not enough schedules aligned. When that happens, I promise you, it's going to be there. Jaws will drop. So yeah, I'm excited for what's next in my music. Stay tuned, God bless. I'm thankful for you all.